the same bad idea? Get a campervan? Well, the idea is actually not that bad. You just have to pull some time off, you just have to build it, you just have to find it, and that's a lot of headache. So this is what we're gonna be talking about in this new section. My name is Dennis, this is Live Test Drive, this is probably the future campervan, shall we? Let's crush your baby dreams, okay? First of all, there are three classes. Class A, B, C. In the US, those classes mean a lot. A lot in terms of what you'll be able to do with it, or most likely won't. Class A, this is something giant, big, huge motor house where you'll be able to fit like 5 people, 3 kids, 2 cats, and a lot of stuff. Sounds exciting. You're gonna have 2 bedrooms, you're gonna have a couple of showers, you're gonna have a lot of stuff, and the first thing that comes to your mind, yeah, it's probably not fuel efficient. This is not about efficiency. At the first take, it sounds like a great idea to get something giant, big, where you'll be able to fit a lot of stuff. But in reality, you'll be able to park it only at very specific stops. You have to search through some crowded RV parks, you have to search where you'll be able to pay less money, and in most of the cases you will need to pay like 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks a day to park your giant RV, and in most cases it's gonna be just in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they're gonna provide you electricity. Oh, thanks God. You won't be swearing bullets, but you're gonna be paying the same price that you would spend on this middle of nowhere hotel. So what's the point? Let's talk about Class B. This is something where you're gonna have smaller package, big Mercedes campervan, or you're gonna have something with a taller roof that will be built specifically as an RV. Sounds like a better plan. But in reality, it's still gonna be as an RV. So in reality, any place that will be able to distinguish big truck or smaller minivan, they will be able to tell you, okay, you can't park here. So you again gonna face the same trouble. And that's where you're gonna start looking for something more stealth, something that's gonna be passing through the street and you probably won't notice. Just an example, when you're gonna see some Spectrum, Xfinity, or any other contractor van, that can be also classed. So it's really hard to distinguish it as an RV, and it's not gonna give you a headache to park it. Alright, yeah, this is a big topic, but at least now you can think into the right direction. If you wanna travel but you don't wanna spend like 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks a day to park your RV, to park your van, you're probably gonna be looking for something smaller, for something that won't have a logo. Hey, I'm an RV and I got a lot of money. Speaking of which, this is 1991 Ford Econoline Club Wagon 5.8 liter. Man, it's a long name. Yes, it's old, yes, it's not perfect, but we're gonna talk about why we picked it. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and watch the newest videos as soon as they come out. For now, let's just talk about 10 things that you must consider before you're gonna go and pick your own. Look beyond the pricing, okay? I had this experience, so learn from my lesson. I went to look up the similar vehicle out of Craigslist, and they were looking only for 1,000 bucks. And I was like, yeah, it's a cool deal. But I ended up on the middle of intersection on the red light, and I was barely able to pull parking and stop right on the middle of intersection. Car that got no brakes gonna get you in trouble really fast, and you're gonna crash this idea like a glass against the wall. So yeah, look beyond the price. First of all, you need something reliable, and that's where the number 2 comes in my mind. So before you even take off and do a test drive, make sure you have brakes and make sure it's safe to do the test drive. Price is nothing when you jeopardize your safety. Let's say it runs. Just hypothetically, it runs and it can go around the block. Drive it. Drive it for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Tell the seller you need to make sure it's drivable. Do the homework, because as soon as you sign the title, it's yours. And when it's yours, you're gonna pay for very major repairs. Engine breakdown, transmission, things that you can easily test it yourself just by driving it. If it shifts, if it runs smooth, if it doesn't bring you much vibrations, if it just runs like a normal car, you'll be able to hear it. You don't need to have engineer's degree. Easy peasy test. Alright? Just turn the ignition on and shut it off. Turn the ignition on, start the car and shut it off. Do it like 10 times. Alright, if the battery is dead, it's not gonna start after like 5-6 times for sure. It doesn't mean it's a bad battery. It can be a bad alternator. And when it comes to bad alternator, you're gonna spend hundreds for the part because you're buying used old vehicle and you're gonna spend a lot of money to replace it. So battery is quite simple. You just pull up 2 wires, put the new one. Easy solution, but only battery gonna cost you $100. So turn it on, shut it off, turn it on, shut it off, and put a big smile. Some extra tip about the battery: you can always pull up the hood and look at the battery itself. Usually on one side you'll see rounded sticker that's gonna have 2 numbers. This is gonna tell you when the last time they replaced the battery, because every time you purchase a new one they put a sticker with the months and year of this battery. Number 4, well, that anyone can do. You can just look at the tire tread and you can just look really closely. You'll be able to find the date when this tire was produced. So basically you can tell how old it is. If it's like 7-10 years old, you must replace it today. And when you're talking about 4 wheels for campervan or 4 wheels for bigger vehicle, you're most likely looking at like $400-500 just to swap the tires. And since you're gonna be traveling, you definitely want to change them. Well, at the first take it might not sound like a big deal, but on the paper, when you're gonna put together all the numbers and all the money that you spend, you will see the difference. Number 5. I picked it specifically as number 5 just because I have 5 holes in this body. Alright? But this is important. It's not only about how it looks, it's also about how you're gonna be able to use it as a daily vehicle where you're gonna be living. If you're gonna see the sunlight that's passing through the body of the van, that's trouble. This is something easy, but how about rain and snow? That's where it's gonna be a problem. Don't get me wrong, rust on the body, this is something that you can easily fix. But when you have a lot of rust on the main structural components, it can break down like in 2 parts in the middle of freeway. Scary, right? Number 6, you have to do your homework. Again, you can easily drive it around for like 5-10 minutes. Car gonna warm up, you're gonna have operating temperature, you're gonna be able to shift on the first gear, find some quiet street, drive between 15 and 20 miles an hour on the first gear to give you an idea if this engine can survive on a higher RPMs. This test is very simple, but it's gonna tell you, alright, if the engine is not overheating, older vehicle is not overheating, yeah! But usually besides heat you have a lot of other components. You're talking about main engine components. This is something that is going to be expensive to repair. And if this engine can spin on a higher RPM for at least like 5-10 minutes, well, you pretty much tested the engine. Just look for smoke from a tailpipe, something weird, shaky and noisy after you're gonna do this test. Check for something like how your doors operating. Yeah, test all the locks, test all the windows, test all the minor things. If your AC runs, if you get some hot air or cold air out of your vents, if your lights are working, if your turn signals are working, if your brake lights are working, this is something minor. But usually if you have older vehicle, something most likely gonna be broken. And yes, this is probably the least expensive thing in your list, but yeah, it's still essential to do it, and yes, it's gonna take you time. Number 8. You need to make sure you'll be able to use it the way you want it. Well, where you wanna be parking it. If it's gonna be only a road and pavement, you don't need much clearance, right? If you want to park it on the beach, well, then you need a little bit more clearance, and then you need a little bit more aggressive tire, and then you need a lot of other things. But how about shower? How about restroom? How about kitchen? Are you gonna be cooking inside, or are you just gonna be sleeping there? I mean, if you're only gonna be sleeping there, you can look at something really small, like Ford Transit Connect, or something really fuel efficient, where you're gonna put the bed and basically use it for sleep. But if you want to put a shower, if you want to have kitchen, if you want to have office, that's something to look into before you're gonna start searching through Craigslist or gonna go and get the new one. Number 9, yeah, if you want to be like a rock star. I mean, like a literally rock and star at the same time. You can easily pull some ambulance with ghost or some van that's been transferring some radioactive materials. I mean, I don't want to sound dramatic, but at the same time you don't want to open the doors and see a lot of water coming into the cabin for a long time, because in this case you're gonna be fighting mold. And you don't want to buy something from carpeting company, because it might be a little bit smelly. And number 10. Okay, if you reach us, why I can say it? Well, alright, I get it. If you have money, you can go ahead and get a brand sparkling new, ready to move. You'll just pay a lot of money and you'll be able to start your journey same day. But it's not only about money and how much you're gonna spend purchasing one of those and how much you're gonna invest to build it. It's also about what you're gonna get. I remember when I was a kid, those little tiny toys with the VW campervans. Well, you see it on the street and you're like, yeah, it looks so cool. I agree, huge VW logo on the front, big tire, but those are very unreliable. Like, don't do it. It looks tiny, it's got no space inside, but this is not the main issue. If you break down in the middle of the desert, this is not the main complaint that you're gonna have. Most of the shops will tell you, oh, you know what, we don't work on such old cars, or oh, you know what, this is a turbocharged, oh, you know what, this is European, so find European store. So there are a lot of if, and if you're on a budget, you have to look at something that you'll be able to repair on the middle of nowhere at the minimum price. Not only talking about price of the part, I'm also talking about price of the labor. It's something easy going. Can you tell why I got Batman on the roof? And we're gonna talk in the next episode why we picked this specific one. This is actually a legend, and I'm gonna tell you all the details. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and watch the newest videos as soon as they come out.